And this is the Rita Cosby Show. The number to call is 1-800-321-8828, 1-800-321-8828. There are some fascinating new developments in terms of social media and some big questions about Google, Facebook, MySpace. Are they destroying your online privacy? And some major developments, particularly if you look at what's happening with Google, where they're condensing accounts and maybe putting your privacy in jeopardy. And I think it's somebody who's online, who's using Google, which, most of us are, constantly. I'm constantly using it. You have to think, is it jeopardizing your identity online and not helping your privacy whatsoever? Well, joining us now here on the show to talk about this is Bill Kerrigan. He's the CEO of Abine, and it is a company that enhances online privacy. He's also a former executive VP of worldwide consumer business at McAfee. And, some interesting questions, Bill. I mean, I think it's very concerning to the consumer, especially when you're not aware of what's happening, right?
Couldn't agree more, Rita. The lack of online privacy is a huge problem, and it's only getting worse. I mean, you mentioned Google, you mentioned Facebook and their IPO. This recent Zappos breach, 24 million consumers impacted with their personal data exposed. So I think consumers realize their data is out there, but I think the real problem is they aren't quite sure what they're supposed to do to protect their data.
So what do they do? Give us a sense of sort of what can you do. And one of the things that I thought was really interesting with Google in particular is tell us about this, how they used to sort of separate the buckets and now they're combining these. So what does that mean to your work and your privacy account? Your private account, a lot of people have that work account and then they've got their personal account. It sounds like they're melding it together, right, Bill?
Right, they are. And I think somewhere there's this huge disconnect in the consumer's mind between being aware of what information we give to Google and actually realizing that Google now has all of this information forever. So if you use Google email, video, search, photos, they have every email you've ever sent, every video you've ever watched, all of your personal photos, an archive of everything you've searched, right? This virtual you based upon information they've collected that can be part of a group that can impact your insurance rates, your credit scores, and more. We think this is a serious consumer concern, how they're aggregating and now collecting this data across all of their services.
Yeah, so what can consumers do? What's the step as folks who are listening out there going, oh my gosh, this is all melding together? And the other question is, what do they do with this information, Bill? I mean, that's the other thought.
Sure. Well, look, our vision is to give consumers control back over their personal information. And we've launched a product this week called Do Not Track Plus. It's a free product available today at abine.com. And this is where the user starts to take back control. You can do everything you would normally do online with no disruption. Shop, play games, socialize, search, etc. But you see everybody who's trying to track you. You block those trackers, and this is now blocking more than 200 companies in addition to Google. You stop advertisers and social networks from knowing your every move. We think this is a great first step for consumers to taking control back of their personal data.
Yeah, and it's so overwhelming. I think it's so hard when people are listening to what's going on and they see these things online and they do feel so out of control in terms of these big, huge companies like a Google, like a MySpace, like all these others. And you do have to wonder what information is getting gobbled up when you do a search. When you're doing this, you're sending in information. How do you rest the consumer assured not to panic when they hear that their work and their private account are coming together, Bill?
Well, there is something they can do. They can download tools like ours, Do Not Track Plus. At the same time, they have to realize is that the consequences of not doing anything are growing and very, very real. Right? The negative result of what I'll call this pile of digital data that's being collected about you can be something as benign as some slight embarrassment or as tangible and real as, impacting your credit score, impacting an insurance rate, or even the potentially of a loss of a job opportunity. Consumers have to take the first step today if they're going to take control back over their personal data from all of the trackers out there.
Yeah, it is. I think it's extremely overwhelming. Bill, thank you. It is really fascinating. How can people get more information about your products and your company?
They can come and see us at abine.com.
All right, abine.com. Bill Kerrigan, interesting, and I think so timely given all the developments that we've seen, and also with MySpace going public and all these, it's just Facebook going public, rather. It's been incredible to see what's going on,
Well, time time for consumers to feel like somebody's advocating and acting on their behalf rather than just participating in the social networks or the ad networks. So
thank you.